Good evening to all. Myself and Arun Kumar. I am going to talk about stability analysis in control system. So in this video, we are going to see how the stability factor has been analyzed in root locus techniques and their constructions. So in this video, we are going to see what are the what are all the properties are available while facing the root locus techniques. So there are some certain rules are there while placing all the roots value in the graph. So first rule is locate the open loop poles and zeros in S-plane. So poles and zeros means numerator and a denominator part. So in characteristics equation, upper part is known as numerators and down part is known as denominators. So two parts are there in this characteristic equation. So those two parts will be available in for poles and zeros. And next one is rule 2, find the number of root locus branches. So based on the root locus root value, s power, suppose for example if the characteristic equation is start from s power 5 means the highest value is 5, so n equal to 5. So based on the number of root locus, we have to select the concerned value. N value is based on the poles and zeros. And next one is identify and draw the real axis of the root locus branches. So we are already find out the value of poles and zeros. So from this poles and zeros, we have to draw the concerned real axis of the root locus. And next one is rules 4. So when the pole has crossed over the centroid point, we have to find the concerned factor by using the centroid and angle of asymptotus. The centroid is defined by using poles and zeros. The formula is sum of poles minus sum of zeros divided by n minus m. So m is number of modes, n is number of modes, number of roots. So sum of poles means already we have discussed the sum of characteristic equations has been calculated by poles. Those poles values are listed by centroid. The poles are numbers. The poles values are in numbers minus sum of zeros. How many numbers are How many numbers are present in the zeros? So that we have to calculate the centroid point. And next one is angle of asymptotus. The centroid point has passed through the angle of asymptotus. The asymptotus value as calculated by using 180 into 2k plus or minus 1 divided by n minus 1, because we have framed a graph. So those graph will be forwarded by using a centroid value. So those centroid point will meet each other by 0 to 180 degree. So if you are seeing the graph, we will know about the concept very clearly. And next point is rule 5. Find the breakaway and break-in points, because already we have discussed the sum of poles and sum of zeros in centroid point. Apart from the centroid point, how the root locus has been framed. So the root locus point has breaked by the sum of poles and sum of zeros. That point will be based on the angle. That will be noted as in the diagram. And next one is rule 6, find the angle of departure and the angle of arrival. So after the concerned point meeting the poles and zeros, we have to mark the concerned value. That value will be based on the angle of departure. Next one is intersection point on imaginary axis. So those imaginary axis point will be based on the centroid value. The centroid value is apart from the root locus of the concerned point. So that value will be decided by using the imaginary axis. And next one is the values are calculated by using this centroid point. So here the minus 2 is known as centroid value. The centroid point will be marked in the angle as 0 to 180 degree. And next one is the cutoff point, breakaway points. The breakaway points are calculated by using imaginary axis, so that they are mentioned about j root 5 and minus j root 5. So the concerned value will be beat the centroid before the line of the imaginary axis. Thank you.